$700. That is the price for the PS5 Pro, coming out November 7th, 2024. And what Sony is really positioning this as is a no compromise solution. You don't have to choose between performance or fidelity. What do you want? Better looking graphics, or you want faster frame rates? That's what the PS5 Pro is all about. You can see that in some of the upgrades that they did to it, which they had I believe a 67% larger GPU or more compute units in the system, along with 28% faster memory. I hate with all these percentages here, but basically it's supposed to give you about 45% faster rendering speeds with the system. There's better AI ray tracing in there, and it's also PSSR, PlayStation Spectral Super Resolution. That's going to take those old games and be able to upscale them to better, higher graphical fidelity, get to that 4K, even possible 8K. I'm pretty sure most of you aren't gaming in 8K, but there's supposed to be a game boost feature in the PS5 Pro to kind of get these games to be at that resolution or be at a stable sort of frame rate. What they're sort of advertising here with it. There's going to be a pro mode. So what that pro mode is supposed to do, you can choose the graphic and fidelity. You've seen that. You've seen my video here on the channel that kind of talked about that, is comparing those two. But now there's a pro mode that's supposed to be able to combine both of those together to give you the best performance possible, as long as the developer has taken advantage of the system and done things in the right way. Now, physically, they did add 2 terabytes of storage to the system. I do like that, because combined with an NVMe storage you can add along to it, you can get about 4 to 5 terabytes of storage built in right onto the console there itself. I kind of like that. It does have an extra USB-C port in the back of it, and it's a little bit taller, but it's around the same size as the PS5 Slim right now. So that's pretty impressive to pack all that power in and keep it close to the same size. It doesn't come with the vertical stand. It does not come with an optical disk drive, but you can purchase it separately, similar to the same drive that you can purchase separately with the current PS5 Slim. That's a little disappointing, because that kind of raises the price up a little bit. And speaking of price itself, typically we've seen in the past when pro models of consoles come out, that tends to be the top one around a $500 price point, $500-$600 price point, doing US pricing here. And the older console, the one that was previously out, tends to drop down in price. But this time we're going in the other direction with the PlayStation 5 right now. The current model is out, it's going to stay at the same price, and that Pro version is where you're going to be spending more money. But with the added specs there with it, maybe worth it for some gamers out there. It's coming with Wi-Fi 7 as well. Like I said, 2 terabytes of storage, extra USB-C port built into the system. You're getting that larger GPU, so you're getting that beefier, better performance. Cool, they've done the upgrades, and they've done some significant upgrades to it. Price point is definitely something I think makes people kind of take a pause a little bit to it. But I think adding Wi-Fi 7, that extra storage, did future-proof it a little bit, and especially if it can make its claim of doing what it says it's doing in terms of that 4K 60, no compromise. The $700 is definitely an interesting price. And especially because now I even think about this, that we don't have a lot of PS5 dedicated games. There's not that many out there. I'm pretty sure more will come over time now, but the lack of that is kind of where, like, how do you justify the $700 when you don't even have enough games that are dedicated to PS5 that can actually take advantage of all this power? I don't know. We'll have to see on that. Relying on the library of the PS3 and the PS4 specifically has been the crutch of this last generation. Even on the Xbox side, they've been relying on a lot of the older games and patching them and updating them and just kind of making them better overall in terms of resolution or frame rates. But how much longer can you really do that? If someone's going to buy a PS5 Pro and spend $700 on it, are they going to get everything out of it, including PS5 Pro games that take advantage of all that power, of all that it has to offer? And is there going to be enough of them to justify it? We'll see in the future, not too distant future, but let me know what you guys think in the comments. Thanks for watching.